Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a Supertarts Bam Bag and Shape haul. So this was the bakery coffee pre-order she did along with the mouse ears collection. I really like the business model she's been doing lately. So she's kind of halted pre-orders for a little bit because she did have a lot of pre-orders out, and with this whole virus thing, she and her employee and her husband are kind of doing shifts in the warehouse, so they're not able to, like, they're doing half the work because they're not working together, they're working opposite. So production has slowed down a little bit, so her turnaround time has had to extend for a few, by a few days each week, etc. But before this whole virus thing became bad, she was doing weekly pre-orders, and she would do a specific like 2 or 3 different varieties. Like she would do categories. That's what I was thinking of, categories. She would do like bakery, she would do coffee, she would do mint, she would do citrus, that kind of thing. And so she would take she would ask what people wanted, and then she would go ahead and she would offer specific scents. In my experience, most of the ones that she offered were some of the top scents. For example, like Fake and Bake is usually offered in the bakery. Casper is usually offered in the bakery. Things like Ron and Modoc and Flash were offered in like the citrus. Those popular type scents. And then she would do 1 or 2 whole collections along with it, which is really nice. Because in the past she would do just like 3 or 4 collections in 1 month, and it could take a year for those scents to come back around. So if you didn't have the money to buy that pre-order, you were shit out of luck for 9 to 12 months to get that scent again. So this was a good way to offer the same scents and to have it be rotated. I really enjoyed this, and I hope she continues to do this when she starts opening back up. I know I've ordered every week for the last 4 weeks, so I do have, I think, 3 more weeks of pre-orders coming, because I know I did the citrus one. She had a berry one, which I ordered from, and then she had another one, and I ordered from that one too. So I know I have 3 more pre-orders, I believe, coming. So like I said, I really enjoy this. Other vendors are starting to do the weekly pre-orders too, because it's easier for them to do a pre-order, make and ship that week instead of making a lot of wax and having it sit on their shelves. So this is a lot better for everybody, and I really enjoy this model because pre-orders you don't sell out of. It's not Hunger Games to try to get it. It's, for me, I really enjoy this business model. Even if it takes 3 or 4 weeks to get the stuff, I'm cool with that. It's not like I'm out of wax or anything, or have the danger of running out of wax. So this one is a pretty big one. This is my first order from Brandy. I believe this is my first order from her since I started buying again. So for those of you who are new to my channel, I started on a wax ban in August. And so I stopped buying from every vendor because we had just bought a car, and we had 2 car payments at the time. And that pretty much took all of our extra money for the month. And then in October, my husband and I separated. I moved out. I wanted a divorce, and I had to keep my ban because I went from, not a great income, but decent income, to next to no income because I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I had to continue my ban. In February, things improved enough that I could start buying again. So I started buying a little bit here and there in the beginning of February. And then I did more around like tax time, because my ex and I filed together. So I did have some extra money. We had our income credit for the kids. And then I have a college credit because I'm in college. And so we just split it 50-50, the return. So I had a little bit of money. So I placed a bunch of orders, and this was one of them. And then I do have another couple vendor orders that are still coming in. And I saved some of my tax money for these weekly pre-orders in case some of my favorites popped up. So again, I just really like this business model. There's several scents I missed out on because I hadn't been buying, like Snape and like a lot of the Wizards wax. So I have probably 4 or 5 Wizards wax that I'm needing. I know this week she's doing production on the Fresh and Clean one. So it was like laundry and like cactus and sea salt type blends and everything. So that was a really good pre-order. So I know I ordered probably 5 or 6 band bags that week too. And I know she said she was doing production on those this coming week. So that's good. So I should have those within the next week to 10 days. So anyways, I'm going to stop rambling because I ramble a lot. It's 5 in the morning and I just took Robert to work and he's been cut down on hours. He's been working between 2 and 3 days a week. So my kids are never going back to school at this point. So this is the only time I have complete silence to record. So here we are, yawning, not knowing what I'm talking about and all. All right. So I like what she's been doing with the samples. She's actually been including hand sanitizer. So that is really cool. It is so dark in here, but there's nothing I can do. Yeah, that doesn't really help. Okay, we're just gonna go with it. So I do have a few, I did order quite a bit of band bags, and you're gonna hear that meowing in the background. That is my cat Joey. So for those of you who have been with me for a while, I had at the other house 5 cats. Most of you know Groucho, which was the one that always jumped on the table and got in the way of my videos. Unfortunately, he is my ex's cat, so he and Max were buddy, and so he kept them 2, and I have the other 3. So Joey's just a big crybaby, and he heard I was up, so now he's walking around the house crying because that's what he does. So I'm going to start with the donut shapes. So I typically buy band bags and everything, but there were a few scents that I wanted in a little bit lesser quantity. I'm trying to get out of clamshells because in my experience, even when they're stored properly, even when they are not very old, a lot of times the clams start to get soft and squishy. And for me, as much as I have always loved clams, I just am really getting out of the clams. And I will get a clam if it's a scent that I'm not sure of, but she is offering the smaller shape packs for that instance. So for me, I'm kind of doing away with clams altogether and just ordering from like the shape packs because she does offer clams in the pre-order. But I'm just really trying to, I had something from like mid 2019 that was starting to go soft. I think it was the color of the wax because I've noticed a trend with that color. So for me, that's what's happening. I'm just kind of steering away from it. Most scents I buy from her, I would buy in a band bag because I like the scent that much. So there's that. All right, so I'm going to start. I got 4 of the 2-pack donut shapes. Now these were still in the $8 range, so they are pretty heavy. I think they're around 6-7 ounces. So the first one that I grabbed is Lorelei. And Lorelei is coffee, midnight ice cream, and cinnamon donut. So I don't melt coffee as much. I typically melt coffee only maybe 2 or 3 days a week in the mornings. And so I didn't want a ton of coffee. I did order a couple coffee band bags in my favorite scents. And I really like Lorelei. But for me, I just did not want to have too many band bags. The next one was a specialty blend. This one is the only one I regret not getting in a band bag because you don't know if it's going to be back. It's Pink Sugar Mouse Ears, which is a lemonade lollipop in pink sugar. So I should have known that I was going to love this because I love her Mouse Ears blend and I love pink sugar. So I really am kicking myself for not ordering a BAM in that. But that, I can get probably 5 or 6 melts from each donut. So, I mean, it's not like it's a huge difference. It is probably half the size of a BAM bag. But at the same time, I still have so much wax, I don't really need to have a BAM in every single scent. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, is just getting like my top favorites. So like the week that she did the berry one, I did Beauty and the Beast, Berry Good Cookie, Jessica Jones, you know, those kind of scents that I melt all the time. And like during the citrus one, I did get Ron and Modoc and Flash because those are favorites of mine. And so for me, I'm trying to really focus on my favorites, or the scents I reach for a lot, and not get the ones I've never melted, not get ones that are new to me. You know, I'm trying to steer away from buying bulk and things I've never melted. Although I will say I am melting stuff from her that is super old. I mean, we're talking 2015, 16 that I got in D-stashes that are still throwing really good. I just finished a couple clamshells from 2017 that are still doing good. So, you know, for me, I do reach for her stuff a lot. She is my top 3 vendors, so I do reach for her stuff all the time. All right, back on task, because that's what I do at 5 in the morning as I get off task. The next one is Zeus. This one I really enjoy. It's coffee ice cream and blueberry cornbread. Blueberry cornbread is beast. So she combined the beast with coffee ice cream. So again, it is a coffee scent, but it's a really good one. And the last of the donut shapes that I picked up is The Office. This one is really good too. It is Vanilla Bean Noel Sugar Cookie World's Best Bossed Coffee. This one is a little bit on the lighter side to my nose, so I tend to not reach for it as often because I really like having the stronger scents for coffee. So now I'm going to grab the band bags. The first one that I picked up is The Simpsons, and I love this scent. It is glazed donuts, root beer, and whipped cream. Something you're going to see me do here in the next little bit is I did reach and grab all of my my breakaways, my clamshells, and my scent shots that I have band bags of, and I have started melting those first. So you will see these scents, like I have a breakaway and a scent shot in The Simpsons. You'll see me melt that first, and then I will start reaching for the band bags. So I've started really focusing on my smaller items that are older, obviously, and also because if I have the band bags here, I really don't need to worry about running out, so I can not hoard that last scent shot. I can not hoard the breakaway. I can kind of start melting through that because I know I have a whole 10 ounces left in, you know, my disposal. All right, the next one that I picked up, this is a new one to me. This one is Walt, and this one is lemonade, lollipop, and blackberry. So I love her blackberry. Her blackberry is one of my favorite blends, and I love her mouse ears, so I thought I was going to absolutely adore this, and I do. The last time this was offered, to my recollection, it was in pans, and I'm really trying to get away from pans because it's so much wax. I have a pan from 2017 I'm struggling to work through because it's just so much wax. So I'm really trying to steer away from, there's Joey again, trying to steer away from huge amounts. Like band bags to me is my max amount that I would want to have, and if I really want that much of the same scent, I would buy two bags. For me, super pans, it's so hard because you're opening and closing that same container all the time of the same scent. For me, they stay fresh if they're in band bags because there's 2 of them, which I could grab some of these size bags and just break them up, but it's just, for me, pans are super daunting. The huge loaves I'm trying to steer away from other vendors, so it is what it is. All right, the next one that I have, I am finishing up another band bag of this. It's Family Matters, and this one is zucchini, butterburkle, ice cream, scoop bread, and coffee. I love this scent, so I do have another band bag from 2018 I am finishing up. I love this scent. This one is my go-to. This one and Lorelei are the 2 that I grab the most when it comes to coffee blends. The next one that I have is another favorite, and this one is Toodles, and it is lemonade, lollipop, and Gain. So this one is another strong one. I love her Gain scents, and if you are wondering, I just noticed this, if you're wondering why I'm facing the other direction, so I have mentioned in previous videos that I'm renting my mom's house. Well, she never moved most of her stuff out. Most of her stuff was still here, but she was giving us a lot of stuff, that, like furniture wise, like the table and the couch and everything she was giving us. So what happened was we spent the last almost 6 months being here, and she and her fiance are looking to buy a house. Well, at the time, she wasn't interested in moving her stuff because she didn't know where to put it. She wasn't going to move it into his current house because they are buying a new house. So my living room looks like an episode of Hoarders right now, because I had to move my stuff out of my ex's house. So my mom said, okay, fuck up the living room, but leave the rest of the house decent. So I put everything in the living room. So now my stuff is all stored in the living room. Her stuff we're starting to put in the living room because we're starting to, bring everything out and organize it so we can put it. She got a storage unit for temporarily until they move, because my ex had let me keep my stuff at his house, and all of a sudden in February he was like, no, you need to come get your stuff, I'm done. And I told him it would be March or April before I'd move my stuff out, but his parents got a hold of him and they decided to tell him that no, you can't let her do this any longer. So I had to bring my stuff. So I switched my seat. Usually I sit in that seat because my living room looks ridiculous and I really don't want that in the background. Although this doesn't look very good either. It's better than the living room. So that is why I'm turned around. I'm hoping within the next week or two to get most of my stuff moved into my closet. We spent a whole day emptying out my closet of my mom's stuff. So I'm hoping to get my stuff moved into there. The majority of what I'm have in the living room is going in there anyway. So all right, the next one that I have, this is a top favorite. It's Casper toasted marshmallows, vanilla bean noel, cornbread, Mexican fried ice cream. I love this scent. It is a very top favorite of mine. Excuse me, the yawning started because I'm like, my body's like, go to bed, lady. I have very sad news though. Robert does not like my bakery scents. I put on the other day, I put on Nova Prime, and then there was one other that I put on and he hated them. And I said, what is wrong with you? And, but he likes Toodles. He likes Swan. Swan is one of his favorites. He always, when he's home, I will let him pick out the scent for the day when he's home, and he picks out Swan probably 9 times out of 10. So I have a Bam bag I ordered in a previous pre-order, and then I wound up buying one in a D-stash because I was like, okay, since he likes that, I need to have it on hand and plenty of it. So I don't expect him to like Casper because he doesn't like Nova Prime. And I can't remember now what the other one was. There was 2 that were big bakery type scents that are so popular, and he hates them. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Are you broken? It's been a few days, so now I can't remember what it was. All right, there's 2 Bam bags left. The next one is Frankenstein, and although this is a pumpkin one, I love it all year long. It is Coffee Pumpkin Pie Vanilla Wafer. I love this scent. It is a very nice bakery coffee. It's not heavy on the pumpkin to me. It just does not scream fall. It just screams coffee and bakery. All right, and speaking of Nova Prime, that would be the last one, Nova Prime, which is Bakery Shop Sweet Lemon Meringue and Blackberry Cream. Love this scent. This is another top favorite of mine, and I don't care what he says. I tend to get his opinion about a lot of things, but then when it comes right down to it, it is pretty much up to me. Like, I will make the final decision. I try to be mindful of what he likes when he's home, which lately he's been home all the time. We've been up each other's butts with, like everybody else. But like today he's working, so I'll put what I want on today. And I did tell him he's not a fan of lavender, but I told him there's several lavender scents that you will just have to get over because I enjoy them. And like Rosemary's Baby, he didn't complain about Rosemary's Baby. I put it on last night, but that's one I would fight him on because that is that is my number one favorite. That is the one thing that will make me fall asleep quickest. I do have another favorite from a different vendor I won't speak on here because this is a Supertarts haul, so I'm not going to speak of another vendor's wax on I think it's disrespectful, so I won't do that. But you guys know what it is. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know what my other favorite is. And so he doesn't like them, but he won't complain because if it helps me sleep, he's happy. So that makes me happy. But he won't complain about me putting on the bakery scents. But, oh, Sookie. Sookie was the other one. I remember now. I was so mad. I was like, what? And so I put it on the other day. And he goes, what is that crap? And I was like, excuse you? And he looked at me like, oh shit, did I just open this portal that I need to close? I'm like, look, we are stuck together 24/7 pretty much. Once he goes back to working a full 5 days a week, like he's working today, but he's not going to work all day. He's only been averaging between 5 and 6 hours each day that he does work. So I think he worked 4 hours on Friday. So he's not working full days on the days he works. He's considered an essential employee, but if they're not busy, they're not busy. They've sent most of their employees out into different warehouses on the road in different states, and he did not want to leave because I have my special needs child, and he felt like with school being out, it would be too much for me to be by myself with him with no help. So he was willing to take on a less pay weeks to help me. And the company reimburses you for like your hotel and like your gas, and if you need to take an airplane, your flight. But at the same time, you have to pay for it up front. And since he hasn't been working as much, this is week number 3. He's not going to have 40 hours. And it's like, how do you expect us to pay for this? Yeah, they reimbursed you. That's great. But that doesn't help for the upfront costs. So we had to do what we had to do. That was best for us. So it is what it is. We are okay. Money-wise, I have had to cut down on my spending, like going to like Target. I've had to stick with necessities and not buy stuff that I want. And like wax, I've really had to cut down pretty much down to nothing again because he's not, working 40 hours again. So once he gets back to it, we'll be okay. But who knows when that's going to be. So it is what it is. So I've rambled long enough. I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.